What is going on YouTube? Hitting back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as Litecoin. We're also going to be discussing an article posted by you today in regards to the Bitcoin price charts indicate strong buying on dips as community feels Bitcoin hopium, as they call it. Very interesting. A couple things I do want to discuss. Honestly, I do want to spend quite a bit of time discussing the XRP and Bitcoin charts because once again, like I said yesterday, I do believe we are going to see some sort of interesting movement in the next couple of days. Some very hype news coming out, some very hype movement, and the way the charts are aligning so perfectly right now literally gives me belief that in the next day or so, if not a couple of hours, we're going to see some sort of break in the direction and in the pattern, and we will see some sort of bigger swing to the upside or to the downside fairly quick. We'll also talk about shorting the cryptocurrency as well as buying into it and leverage trading, so some awesome stuff to discuss. But otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, and let's jump into today's episode. So guys, we're on my current YouTube channel. As you guys can see, we have 12.9K, and yesterday we were discussing the great news that came out in regards to the XRP Ripple pushing for expansion in, I believe it was Brazil, which is pretty awesome. Basically some more bank-to-bank movements and some more international wire transfers, and getting XRP Ripple adopted for those big institutional financial investors. So some awesome news is coming out. Otherwise, as we know, we were dealing with and discussing the YouTube ban that YouTube did on basically all crypto YouTubers channels. I don't really have any more information to discuss with that, but otherwise just some weird topics. I've been, I always watch YouTube and I always watch cryptocurrency videos, and I'm starting to see some very interesting flaws within the market, and especially within the YouTube cryptocurrency community. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm starting to see some fabricated inflation or some fabricated views and comments on certain particular YouTube channels. I don't want to call anybody out, but I just want to make it a warning for you guys. I've been in the space making YouTube videos for about a year and a half now, maybe a little bit longer, and I see the way my views and my analytics and my chartings happen, and it follows Bitcoin's price. You'll be very surprised, and I can definitely make a video on this if you guys are interested. So I see the way, YouTube views grow, and obviously when Bitcoin starts to pump up higher come 2017, that's when everybody was getting obviously a lot more publicity than when we are now. And obviously the past couple of days we've been in this correction to the downside, and people have been pulling out and moving on from Bitcoin. And you see that in my video views too. You start to see people dip off, people lose interest. But even through all of this, and even through spikes and dips where there was correlation, obviously it doesn't mean causation, but with that correlation, it's interesting to see some other YouTube channels, some bigger YouTube channels continuously get the same amount of views even during the 2017-2018 bull run. We've seen tons of bear market now. We've seen tons of correction to the downside, and I've lost a lot of video views, which makes sense because people lose interest as they lose money. But what's odd is at the same time, other YouTube channels within cryptocurrency tend to have the same exact amount of views, or actually increase views and subscribers at the same time. So it blows my mind that in a market that is so correlated on Bitcoin's price, YouTube channels can continue to grow and gain an extreme amount of views and subscribers on a market that is correcting to the downside and losing interest by the day. You can see it on the clicks on Google, and maybe it is a good topic to discuss because I do think there's a lot of phony fabricated video views on the channel that gets you excited about it when you start to see them blowing off, and I think it's something you guys should pay a little closer to attention to it. Obviously, if that's something you guys are interested in, definitely make sure to comment down below because I could definitely make a video on that, because I do think it's something that you guys should be aware of, and I do think there should be full disclosure and full transparency on YouTube, and especially in the crypto community. And I think you're getting the short end of the stick, guys. So just pay attention to that. Otherwise, to jump into the technical analysis, I just wanted to make that disclaimer out there for you guys. But otherwise, on you today, Bitcoin price charts indicate strong buying on dips as community feels hopium. And I actually wanted to discuss this because the Wolf of Wall Street, Scott Melker, never heard of him before. Seems to be somewhat of a popular, figure out there, being verified and stuff. But he said after hitting 14K, each monthly candle had a large upper wick, blue, indicating strong selling on any rally, which makes sense. You can see right here the past couple that he highlighted in blue. Every time we saw some strong rally upwards, people sold off and it corrected lower. But then it said in October the candle had equal wicks up and down, which you can see right here where we didn't see any movement in either direction. And then November and December have larger lower wicks, indicating stronger buying on dips. So you can see right here that reversal that's happening. And I actually looked on the monthly, and you can see that does actually correlate quite well. Ignore all the lines under it, but you can see as we started to head down, any rally we had up, we saw a quick and strong sell-off to the downside. And then come October, we had a reversal where we basically, were flatlined out. And then vice versa happened. Every time we had headed lower, we bought in as we headed down, and it shot the price higher and higher and higher. So some very interesting points of view. Didn't actually notice that before. I also did some tweaking to my Bitcoin chart that I think you guys should pay close attention to as well. But you can see that emphasis on the word hopium. We have not seen anything to become really bullish yet. Sometimes it's best just to watch and exercise patience. And that's pretty much the biggest thing in today's market. And that's pretty much what we should be, focusing on and talking about. And that's also goes into my topic that I mentioned earlier in the video in regards to the fact that this is a waiting game, guys. This is a patience game. It's not for everybody, obviously. But even then, people, get stalled when the price of the coin doesn't move at all in weeks. Obviously, video views do go down because there's really no content different to produce, and there's really no interest, so people just wait off. Obviously, when we see a big spike to the upside or a big correction to the downside, that's when people start to watch again. But in that consolidation, it's very hard to see the amount of people that are interested in crypto. So it's very odd, and I'd really love to see the analytics on some of these other YouTube channels. But enough about that, more focus on crypto. So to discuss XRP and Bitcoin, obviously, we do know, like I say in all my videos, XRP and Bitcoin have a big similarity, and I feel like I try to make videos and content for you guys on a daily basis. And obviously, like I said, within a market there has to be tons of patience, especially nowadays. It's not like 2017 when he had that massive rally, and I could honestly just talk about how we've pretty much been skyrocketing up in price over and over and over again, and then eventually we started to head down. It's merely a waiting game for now. You guys understand that we do have consolidation, you do have patience, and there's really nothing wrong with buying into the coin right now. You can see right now the coin is undervalued. There's less people involved in it and invested into here. You can see obviously we're pretty much at the bottom end of the totem pole. We're pretty much bottomed off right now. If we do head lower, you're not losing anything really. If you look at where the best point to invest in, obviously all of this is a straight negative, but the fact that we're now literally right down here, which is basically the bottom of where XRP's price has been, it's a good long-term investment right now. Buying in, don't expect to make a ton of money very quickly on XRP right now. It is a more long-term investment, and I do think eventually it will become profitable, but you have to wait out the rest of this period here. And obviously it's much smaller. We've waited out most of it since the 2017 bull run. We've been here, we've been charting it. Obviously there are these big movements, but they don't really correlate to a big profit, honestly. You can see a price range from here to right here. It is 43%. It is a fairly big dip. Maybe it is something to consider, but it does take a while to play out. This wasn't a day movement. This was about let's see right here. This is about 51 days, almost 2 months of consolidation from the point of break, correction or retracement to where we are now. This is a shorting position too. Now, Dudex, an account that I love, it does and will be using other cryptocurrencies soon. I did speak to them, like I've said in the past. Now it's just Bitcoin for right now. That's why I like to talk about Bitcoin, because when I reference here and about shorting, we can short Bitcoin on the charts. Eventually, they will be adding XRP and some other altcoins, which we can eventually short with Dudex. But until that point, that's why I like to include Bitcoin in my videos. But otherwise, it's merely just a waiting game. The only thing I can really anticipate is a consolidation to the downside, maybe one swing to the upside here, but otherwise it's just going to be this flatlined movement out. And either way, we're going to end up hitting here, consolidating lower, or bottoming out here and then consolidating lower. But I do believe towards the end of this, there will be some sort of injection of volume and a move to the upside. That's ultimately end game and what I'm expecting to see here. Now, I did make a small tweak to the Litecoin chart. Litecoin was actually kind of pulling outside of what appeared to be its descending fractal, and I thought I would tweak it a little bit to make it look a little bit nicer because there wasn't really a big injection of volume. We're merely just hitting resistance, as you can see once again. And when I noticed also on Ethereum is consolidating, and it seems to be the same amount as, you know, Litecoin is too. But Bitcoin is the one that really is the confusing one. You can see on Bitcoin, yes, similar to what he said in the You Today article, Bitcoin, although being that on the weekly, not looking at the monthly, on the weekly is having a very interesting similarity with its previous break to the downside. And honestly, this is also a waiting game. We have to be very patient on here and really predict which direction we're going to be heading to. Now, obviously, we're at that point, though. We're at that cusp. I cannot see it lasting any longer than next week. I know I've been saying this, but I know it's a patience game. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5 weeks of sideways movement. That's over a month now that I've been making videos, if you think about it. About 37 videos now of talking about this movement right here. So obviously it's going to be slow. It makes sense. There really has not been much action and volume moving here because we haven't seen any price differences. We've been trending in between 69 and 7,500 the past 5 weeks. There's not going to be much differences coming. But the fact is, we've been using this uptrend that is major key. It's been proven. This is the support right here. This is a clear resistance, and we've been trending inside of here for a very long time. Could we move this up? Honestly, we could. I don't want to because I think that is going to extend this longer than maybe that we have. It is still a possibility. Honestly, this does look to be fairly, correct. And I'm going to actually extend this up because I do think this is definitely an option here. It could play out a little bit better. I want to now just extend everything here to kind of fit the way the chart looks. So you can see that's about correct. Let's move this up here. Extend this a little bit lower. There we go. So now with this slight tweak, you can see similarities. Obviously, we had sideways consolidation right in between dead center. A little bit different on what we're seeing right now, but ultimately we are hugging the support, one that we've had since February, early February. You can see the consolidation is up here too. Same thing right here. What is happening? But ultimately, we have, I wouldn't say much longer than a week or two of consolidation of the same similarities in price before we see any sort of big break in movement. But you can see what exactly is happening right now, which when I move the overlay, you can see exactly how similar this is in regards to the fact we're hitting resistance numerous times and we're trending sideways right now. We're trending in between the high-low MMA, and we're also hitting a very strong resistance now at 7,500. You can see it does hold some support, not really much in the previous 2017, 2018, but you can see right here where we had it back in June and is this just June? Yeah, just June. And you can see early September where we've had this support currently acting as a resistance, currently getting hugged in between the high-low MMA. It's a hit or miss right now, guys, in regards to which direction we're going to break. Obviously, it's a waiting game, and we're going to have to be patient. But the next time we see any sort of confirmation of a break to the downside, I'll obviously let you guys know on Patreon as well as on Dudex in regards to which way we are going to swing. Otherwise, in anticipation and within this waiting game, there are some other things we can do to make money that I will be updating you guys on soon about. Obviously, Bitmins and BitSonar are a couple other investment strategies that may be something to consider, and I will be giving my opinion on those in later videos. But that is going to wrap up today's video, guys. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video. Peace.